Welcome to the Brand Gravity Show, where we explore the intersection between brands and psychology. I'm your host, psychology-driven brand strategist Kaye Putnam, and I am so excited to share today's guest with you. Our guest today is Michelle Rogers, founder, CEO of the WELLthy Woman, and we have an incredible conversation about how to have the courage and how to know how to go your own way in your brand, in your business, and her incredible mission for supporting health and wellness practitioners in the online space. Michelle Rogers is a health consultant and experienced naturopathic doctor, business guide, and creator of the WELLthy Woman movement. She helps health and wellness practitioners shift into the online space and scale their business so they can share their unique magic, improve lives, and affect change in the current healthcare paradigm using an integrated approach of business and clinical strategy. Her support is unlike anything you'll find in the online space for wellness professionals. Michelle pulls from over 10 years as a naturopathic doctor, her own signature functional lab analysis methodology, and experience as the CEO of a thriving multi-six-figure business in her group mentorship programs in order to guide her clients to better client results and freedom-filled business success. She believes that to be of service, you don't need to live in servitude, and that empowered practitioners lead to empowered people. It's time to shift the health and wellness paradigm and create a life of true wealth, full of abundance, purpose, health, wealth, and joy. I'm happy to consider Michelle a dear friend, and I so admire so many things about her, and I cannot wait to share her genius with you. Let's get into the interview. Can you just start by introducing your business as it is right now, and then we'll dive into the rest of the story?
Yes, of course. So I have kind of two prongs of my business. So my background is in naturopathic medicine, acupuncture, functional diagnostic nutrition. So I do have a private practice. It's basically closed at this point. It's just very word of mouth. Like I only have 3 private clients and I don't want any more right now. So it's basically closed. But my real passion and purpose, and I kind of joke with people about this, is I really feel like I was a practitioner for over a decade working with clients and patients just so that I would have the ability, the experience, the wisdom, the reputation to be able to mentor practitioners. And that's what I'm doing now. And so for the past 2.5 years, I've been serving health and wellness practitioners to help them pivot their practices into the online space. So whether they're just starting out or they're pivoting from a brick and mortar, really just stepping into this online world, because it can be a beast, as probably a lot of people know. But there are strategies, there are ways to do it. And it's, I think, the most incredibly rewarding thing that we can possibly do is really stepping into our own joy, our own passion, our own purpose, and creating the reality that we truly want instead of trying to fit into some box that doesn't feel very comfortable.
I've had the honor and privilege of getting to know you over the last several months and working behind the scenes on your brand. So I have some privileged information. We've had time to share more of the context. One of the things that I admire about you so much is you're not shy to talk about a big mission that you have for your business. Can you talk about a world that you want to help create? What do you want to change in this space that you operate in?
Yeah, I feel like my mission, my big mission, ends up affecting things on a global scale. But what it really comes down to, and the way that I love working with practitioners, is the personal development piece. And I'm not just talking about motivation and affirmations and positive thinking and good vibes only kind of thing, but more so really owning our authenticity and our true self, and using that unique special sauce, whatever you want to call it, to not only create the practice that you want to be creating, the lifestyle that you want to be creating, the clients that you want to be interacting with, but when you are in that state, you become magnetic. you end up bringing in the people who are searching for you. You're a beacon to those people who are desperately trying to find you in the online space. So not only do you get to be fully fulfilled, fully resourced financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, but you get to like share that with your clients, your patients, and serve from a place of overflow instead of a place from sustenance. And that piece, that pivotal piece of really coming from that space of empowerment has this insane ripple effect. So you get to touch the lives of your immediate family, clients, friends, kids, whatever. And then that ripples out because you're setting an example in a sense. And so those ripples go out and out and out and out. And that's what really, really, really excites me. I truly believe that empowered practitioners create empowered clients and patients. And like from there, it's just like, that's transformative to me.
Mm. It's not just important. I mean, I know that your context, your niche, the people that you're serving are specifically in the wellness space, but what you're saying is so important to any kind of brand. Were you ever in a space where you needed that advice or that process yourself? Like, did you ever find yourself in just a place of sustaining or scarcity? And how did you figure out how to get out of it into this magnetic state that you're now in?
Oh my gosh, have I been there? Yes, 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 yes. So my history, like I was a primary care provider, insurance paradigm, had 200 patients, six-figure practice, and I just like was reflecting and I was torn. I felt this like inner turmoil because I was like, wait, supposedly I'm where I'm supposed to be, but this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel sustainable. Like I can't imagine doing this for 5 more years, let alone 10, 20, 30 more years. Like I felt like a slave to the insurance companies. My clients weren't getting the results that I wanted to because they didn't have the investment to actually follow through with my recommendations. And so it was just life sucking. And so there was just this moment, I think, and it's like, I'm trying to think if there was an actual aha moment. And I don't know if there was. I think it was just like I was tapped out and I didn't know what else to do. And I just like closed down my brick and mortar practice, like referred out all of my patients, decided to just go into the online space. It was intense, but I knew that something had to change and I was willing to do whatever it took and really trust that things are going to work out. Like doors open, you meet people, opportunities arise, and it's really a matter of allowing yourself to see those possibilities. So, yeah.
I love that. And one of the things I love about you is your willingness to take risk, your willingness to
Mm.
boldly try things out. Do you have any other examples of times where you went against maybe the commonly held way of doing things, either in online business or in that transition
Mm.
away from brick and mortar?
I feel like my life is just a group of all of those
Yes.
things. Like,
It's awesome.
even like going into naturopathic medicine and acupuncture, it's, when I did go into the online space, again, totally ahead of the curve of where things are at now, obviously, but like there was also dropping my license. That was a big piece. That was like a
Yeah.
big, scary, like paralyzing time for me because I had been so socialized to believe that having that license, having that designation was my worth or my value. Oh, I'm getting like chills as I'm
Oh,
saying
I
this
know.
because it's like it's crazy because it's so ingrained inside of us. And so like when I was thinking about giving it up, and there are just various nuances there and my ability to practice the way that I wanted to practice in the online space, whatever, I chose to drop my license and act as a health consultant in the online space. And, I had people being like, wait, you're not going to be a doctor anymore? Like, da 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 da. Da. And I'm just like, I'm still the same person with the same experience, like the same, like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I letting other people sort of tell me who I am or what I
Mm,
am? And I still earned that doctorate. Like I am
yeah.
technically still a doctor. I'm not a licensed doctor at this point. And honestly, like, I am so thankful for that. And but it was a very difficult decision. There was that, like, well, what if I want to go back? What if I want to do this? Like, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this, or da 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 da. And it's like, whoa, I actually don't ever want to fit into that paradigm again. And so it ended up being incredibly freeing and, again, super empowering, because I felt like I got to redefine who I was and how I wanted to show up for myself, for my clients, like in the online space. I felt this huge weight lifted because I was no longer a victim or subject to the standards of practice that I didn't even want to be associated with in the first place. So it was just this like crazy transition period for me, but that would be a big one.
How did you find the conviction or the strength or just the willingness to take that jump?
Again, I feel like it was, is it Bruce Lipton who talks about
Mm,
the biology of belief, where he's like,
yeah.
we're either moving towards like love or away from fear, or something to that degree. If
Yeah.
you guys have read his work, there's something around that. And I do feel like a lot of it for me is just like, I know I don't want that. And so it was like almost finding my path by avoiding what I didn't want, because it wasn't necessarily clear what I wanted, because
Mm,
I hadn't even allowed myself to dream and to tap into that creative visioning around, like, what could I create? What lifestyle could I like step into? Like, I was so, so tunnel vision when I was a primary care provider working brick and mortar, like doing what I was supposed to be doing, that I just never came up for air to be like, what could be different? Like, what
mm.
do I actually want? Instead of just being like, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing my grind day in, day out, like da 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 da. So yeah, it was really almost like a, I guess, process of elimination. Like, I know I don't want that. No, I don't want that. And I know I don't want that. So I'm gonna go over here and see what happens over here.
Oh, I think that's so powerful because so often it's hammered into our heads that like we need to think positively, we need to think about the thing that we want. We can't use that negative language to even acknowledge what we don't want. But what I hear you saying is that that was actually a powerful piece of clarity for you and a motivator to just go out into the unknown and to find
Totally.
out what was out there. I love that.
Yeah, it
Mm.
was like I was like snipping off the things that I didn't want,
Ooh.
which like freed up this weight and this space to finally let me be like, whoa, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. And then and then it turned into like, okay, cool, I want that, and I want that, and I want that.
Mm.
But it was like I had to like shave off all of this other stuff first to like
Ooh.
free it up in a way. Yeah.
Mm. And this is maybe a less profound example, but I still love it as a specific way that you're discarding the common paradigm and doing what you want. I love that you take off a week
Mhm.
every month, or you have this flow week that doesn't have planned calls or events. How did you decide to do that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've been doing it now for probably, I think, about 3 years now, maybe. But there was just this essence. I think, gosh, it might have been something that I was doing some personal development work. I've done a ton of personal development work, but I think it, like, there was one point where, so I'm also like Capricorn, like super hard worker, like I'm a generator, human design. So I'm just like a friggin' workhorse. So I think there was like someone at some point pointed out to me that I just didn't have enough white space in my schedule.
Mm,
And it challenged me almost to be like, I am gonna put that white space in my schedule. Because like for me, if it's not in my calendar, like it doesn't get done. And so,
mhm,
my Capricorn generator mind's like, okay, we're putting it in the calendar. And literally it's just been a non-negotiable ever since. So like it's just marked off on my calendar. There's no possible way anybody can schedule calls during that week. And so, do I work during that week? Yeah, I do some work during that week if I want, but it's totally in my own flow, at my own time, at my own pace. Like this past week, I went to Oaxaca with my friend Nancy, who's also a functional medicine practitioner, also takes a flex week off at the end of the month. And so we were like, let's just go to Oaxaca. And like, so it was kind of a vacation, but I live in Mexico anyway. So it was just kind of like a change of beach. And then it was like, let's just like hang out here and like do some work if we want and like bounce ideas off each other. And it just was like fun, and it just brings more play and more creativity and more inspiration, I think, when we have those breaks. Because I think almost like when I was talking about earlier about just being in this tunnel vision of just workhorse,
Mm-hmm.
like da 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 da, we have no breathing room. So our creativity gets cut off. And like if we think about what our creativity is related to, I mean, inspiration, motivation, libido, like let's get physical on that. You know what I'm saying? Like it affects
Mm-hmm.
so many different areas of our lives. And so by breathing in some of that white space, it can just help us to reflect and recover and also kind of plan and also just get in step into that visioning space again. So yeah,
Mm.
it's been a really pivotal addition, and like now I guess what would it be, like a keystone to my
Yeah.
month.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That started off as such like a small tangible example, but you're right. It's so connected to everything that you're doing. And it's connected to that message of creating from abundance or creating from
Yes.
spaciousness instead of sustenance or scarcity. I love that.
Exactly.
If you could plant a seed, a message into every entrepreneur, every practitioner's mind, what would you want them to know?
The first thing that came to mind was that if you want it, it is possible. If you have a desire, if you have a deep desire, that is within you, in your core, something that you are just like, oh, like this, I want this, I need this, like this is for me. It is for you. And it's just a matter of taking that aligned action, sometimes taking messy AF action, but taking that aligned action and like really just keeping and holding on to that because it is
Mm,
possible. I think too many times I see entrepreneurs like doubt themselves and like make the excuse and limit themselves and let all of the pre-programming stuff just cloud what it is that they want and they desire and who they truly are. And so, yeah, it's possible.
mm.
That's what I want to say.
I love it. Do you have any tips, speaking selfishly, do you have any tips if you ever fall out of trust in that immense possibility? Like if you start noticing yourself just getting back into the grind or
Mm.
doubting or whatever that shows up like for you.
Yeah, yeah. First off, I would say that those periods never go away. Like
Mhm.
having those times, I find that they come up most frequently when we are either getting ready to or are in the process of stepping outside of our comfort zone because our mind, our body is literally telling us that we're going to die.
Yes.
And so it's like it makes it has all of our doubts come in, all of the like everything, the worthiness issues, the value issue, like everything just comes pouring down on us, and it can feel like the world around us is crumbling and like everything's going wrong. But in actuality, it's like what people say, like your message, and like you got to break down to break through. Like all of those are so cheesy and like silly, but they're so freaking true. And so when you are in those moments, because I think I had one recently, actually last week. I was just like, what is happening with life? And you just have to like sit back and be like, oh yeah, like everything's gonna be fine. Like everything has always been fine. All of my reference points, everything
Mm.
has been fine. I'm still fine right now. Like surrendering and knowing that everything is going to work out, and like
Ooh.
just trusting yourself and knowing that like you're making the best decisions, the best moves, the best whatever with the information experience that you have right now, and like just trusting that inner knowing. And sometimes I've had people ask too, like, what's the difference between like fear versus like intuition versus da 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 da. And I don't know if this is helpful, but sometimes I'll also tap in and just be like thinking about different choices or different things that I might be considering. And it's like, does this feel exciting and expansive, or does this feel kind of like closed down or constrictive? And
Mhm.
sometimes that simple, like it depends on how sensitive you are with your body and your senses, but like sometimes just that little tap in like that can help you to make that next step or that next choice or whatever that might be.
100%. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
I find the same thing. There's that energy that could be misconstrued as fear that's actually closer to excitement. That's like a,
Yes.
yeah, like an
Yes.
opening, but it still is slightly
Yes.
terrifying. But then,
Totally.
yeah, compare that to the like, ooh, I don't want people to see me. I don't want to do that. Like, oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
100% resonate.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. What is next for your brand and your business? What's your big vision for the future?
I would say what is next is that we are starting to scale the mentorship. And so we are planning within the next 12 months, we are creating space to bring in 10 new practitioners per month into the mentorship. And we are doing a huge revamp of the material. And I am just like beside myself excited. So lots of big, fun, exciting things happening.
Oh, amazing. And how lucky
Yeah.
are those practitioners to have you? Because, like you said, figuring out all of the intricacies of an online business, especially when it's not your entire business, feel like I have a little bit of a leg up because I have been born and bred in this like marketing digital age. But when you're coming from a
Wow. Yeah.
completely different industry, there's such a steep learning curve. And thank goodness you're helping them navigate all of that.
Yes. Yes. And I'm so excited too, because there's something else also, is that we are we're we're releasing our quiz, which I was inspired by Kaye, which I'm so excited about. It's gonna be
So excited.
what is your online practice advantage? And it's launching this week. So I'm so freaking excited about that. It's so good.
Oh, yes. I am so excited for you to get that out into the world. It is profound. Yeah, I got to see like the background, just the behind the scenes of the development of the quiz. And it is so dang useful. And then also just, there's so much insight that you baked into it. I'm so excited for people to take it. It's going to be amazing. We will absolutely link it in the show notes and in all of the places. Where else can people connect with you, find you, learn from you, all the good stuff?
WELLthyWoman.co across the board. So that's WELLthyWoman.co. And it's wealthy like wellness. So people, but
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook, we've got a practitioner only Facebook group that's growing by the day, and website, all the things. So even on TikTok, I'm trying it out.
Thank you so much for making the time and just for being you. I am so honored and so grateful to know you for your boldness, for your authenticity, for your audacity. I just love what you're doing in your business, and you're making those infinite ripple effects in so many ways. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Brand Gravity Show. If you had an aha moment, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, press the thumbs up and click subscribe so that you don't miss any future episodes. I have some amazing guests planned for you. And if you want help uncovering your own unique magic, your own genius, and if for some reason you haven't yet, head over to my website to take the brand personality quiz. It'll help you identify your top brand archetype so that you can stand in your truth, lead from your strengths, and attract the clients that you're meant to work with on a gut emotional level. Till next time, keep sharing your genius and keep building your brand.